welcome to Legacy IAS. So we'll be continuing with clocks. Now only two things are left. One is finding out fixed angle repetitions. Okay, and the other is faulty clocks. Faulty clocks we'll see later. For this video, our topic is finding fixed angle repetition. What does this mean? So basically, what it means, here questions are asked to you like in a day, that is in 24 hours, how many times does the minute hand and hour hand of the clock coincide in a day, if this is the question. Now of course, first thing is finding out like approximately at what times do they coincide, correct? And then you have to count in one complete day how many times they will coincide. So this is why now sometimes this is about coincidence, sometimes it may be about that minute hand and hour hand are at, let's say, 90-degree in a day. So how many times they are at 90-degree in a day? So questions like these are asked. How do you solve them? We'll understand. Now, first thing is finding out coincide. Coincide. Now, I ask you, this is very easy to solve using that formula, that tell me the exact time between 1 and 2, between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. when the hour hand and minute hand coincides. Correct? Now it will be somewhere between 1 and 2. So I have drawn it like this. Now let's try to find out the value if we can. Okay. So if I try to find out the value, see how it works. So first thing, that formula is same. Angle is equals to 60h minus 11m by 2. If it is between 1 and 2, then h or the completed hours is 1. Correct? So now angle is equals to what? Coincide means what? Coincide means 0 degree. Correct? So here it will be 0, 60 in place of h, 1 minus 11m by 2. 2 into 0 is gone. So ultimately you get m is equals to 60 by 11. 60 by 11 is what? How many times? 5 times it goes, 5 remains by 11. So that means the time is 1:05 and some more minutes to it. Correct? Some more seconds. Correct? So 1055 by 11 p.m. is the time when they will coincide. Approximately that only I have tried to show as well as I could. Now, so this you understand that this is coinciding. Now, the thing is, it is not asking you about one particular incident. It is actually asking you how many times does it coincide in a day. So now if it asks you in a day, not between 1 and 2, how many times it coincides in a day. Now how do you find out? Now see, or let's do 12 hours first. So in, let's say, in 12 hours, because then there is just repetition. So whatever answer we get, we'll multiply it with 2. So in 12 hours, how many times does it coincide? Now, do you think it can coincide again between 1 and 2? Do you think? Just move the clock in your head. So this is 1. Now this minute clock has gone. It reaches here and now it is 2 p.m. And then next time when it coincides, it will be between 2 and 3. Can you feel this or not? Correct? If this minute hand will keep on rotating, see it rotating, not coinciding, not coinciding. Now, eventually it will coincide, but that will be after 2. It will be after 2. Now, that is why what you get here is only once you can have intersection or coincidence between 1 and 2. So that means I say that it is similar will be because the speeds are similar, correct? Hour hand and minute hand go at a fixed speed, so their relative speed is also same. So now I say once every hour, but there is a problem. Once every hour is almost correct, but there is one correction that needs to be done here. Now what is that correction? Now if I ask you between 11 and 12, when does it coincide? Between 11 and 12. So this is the most famous one. You would know that hour hand and minute hand exactly coincides at 12 a.m. p.m. whatever, correct? So now it exactly coincides at 12. So I was asking you between 11 and 12. So between 11 and 12 you got 12. Now I ask you between 12 and 1, when do they coincide? Between 12 and 1. So They are both here right now, let's say at 12. And now this minute hand starts moving fast, 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 fast. This hour hand is also moving slightly. So between 12 and 1, they just don't coincide. Correct? They just don't coincide. After 12, they will coincide at exactly this time, that is 1 hour, 5 minutes, and 5 by 11 minutes. Correct? So ultimately at 12, there is coinciding case. That is if you're counting it once every hour, then you will be counting 12 twice. That is between 11 and 12 also, and between 12 and 1 also. That is why there is coincidence of 2 times coinciding here. So ultimately what you have to do, once every hour, and then you'll have to subtract 1 from this. This 1 stands for the exact 12 p.m. That is between, if I ask you, between 11 to 1. Ideally this is 2 hours, between 11 to 1, this is ideally 2 hours. So it should coincide twice according to this, once every hour, but it actually coincides only once, and that is at 12 p.m. and that is the whole issue. So that one I'll have to subtract, and then I will get to the right answer. Similarly, if you look at when they are at right angles, now I'm asking you between 4 and 5, how many times do they coincide? Correct. So I've already drawn the diagram. As you can see, between 4 and 5, this is exactly 90 degrees. Correct. That is, minute hand is behind. Now our hand will move slightly. Minute hand will cross over and come here. So approx at this time also it will be 90 degree. Correct. 0 degree you had only once, but 90 degree you have twice within an hour. So this is actually twice every hour. But again, you will have some exception that you will have to subtract. We'll understand what exception is that. This much you understand, correct? So this 0 degree is once every hour. This right angle is twice every hour minus some exception. Here the exception you already know is it is at 12 p.m. So you will just have to subtract 1. Now let's see the algorithm of how you find this. Let's see with an example. So 0 degree we have already seen. So you count the number of hours in the range, whatever is the range. Let's say the range is of 12 hours. So this becomes what? This becomes 12. Let's count for 24. Let's count for 24. Now, this is number of hours in range because we are counting for 1 day. So this range, in this complete range, you have 24 hours. Then minus number of time you see 12 p.m. You see 12 a.m. p.m. does not matter. Number of times you see 12. How many times you will see 12 in 24 hours? In 1 day how many times? 12 कितनी बार बजता है एक दिन में? 2 बार. Correct. एक बार दोपहर में, एक बार रात में. Correct. Once in the afternoon and once at night. Correct. So 2 times you get 12. So you will have to subtract this 2. So answer becomes what? 24 minus 2. Final answer becomes 20. This is the final answer. Simple, very easy. You just have to count number of 12s within the range that you have to subtract. Now, this is for 0 degree. Now, very similar to this is for 180 degree. Just this is same number of hours in range. This is same. Now, what you have to subtract here is number of times you have 6 in range. Why you have to subtract 6? Because 180 degree, if you remember, one time where you exactly see this 180 degree between minute hand and hour hand is actually at 6. Correct? At 6 you see this 180 degree. So you just have to subtract this 6 from the range. Exactly same otherwise. So now if I ask you how many times 180 degree in 24 hours, so this is, let's say, 24. Correct? Now how many you will have to subtract? 6 कितनी बार बचता है एक दिन में? 2 बार, सुबह और शाम को. Correct? In the morning, in the evening. So ultimately minus 2. 24 minus 2 is 22. So this becomes the final answer. So 180 degree and 0 degree is sorted. Now the thing is, why 0 degree and 180 degree is different? Because they are symmetrical in nature. Correct? So 180 degree, if you look from this direction, it will be 180 degree clockwise you take, or anti-clockwise you take, it's the same 180 degree. Similarly for 0 degree also, because there is no angle, there is no point of clockwise or anti-clockwise. That's why you get only one such time and you have to subtract 1. But in case here you are getting only one time, there is no point of saying that hour hand is ahead or minute hand is ahead. Ultimately it's the same thing, clockwise or anti-clockwise. But for any other angle, there will always be two such times, correct? Like we have done that 45-degree question, correct? 7:30 and 7:46, 5 by 11, those were the two answers. So basically what you will have for any other angle, you will have twice this occurrence. So now let's see for 90 degrees. So 90 degree, how many times this will happen? This will happen 2 times into number of hours in the range, whatever is the number of hours. Now let's count for a day. So this becomes what? 2 into 24, correct? Number of hours in range, so this becomes 48. Fine till here? 48 ideal, but you'll have to subtract number of times you have 3 and 9 in the range. Number of times you have 3 and 9, because exactly at 3, you have 90 degree, and exactly at 9 also you have 90 degree. So these two times only you have to subtract. There we were subtracting 6, we are searching for that perfect angle. Now here we were subtracting 12, this is the perfect o'clock. Here we will subtract for 90, we will subtract 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. or 3 a.m. and 9 a.m. 3 and 9 we'll have to subtract. Now, how many times you will have 3 in a day? You will have it twice. And how many times you will have 9 in a day? You will have it twice. So ultimately it becomes 48 minus 4. Answer becomes what? 44. This is the final answer. Now, this I have done for 90. This I have done for 90. Exactly same will be for all other angles. For all other angles it will be very similar. Only thing you will have to do is these times will change. For example, if I ask you for 30 degree, what you will have to subtract? Or let's say I ask you for, let's say, 60 degree. Now what you will have to subtract? So you will have to subtract the time at which this is exactly at 60 degree. Exact 60 degree is at 2 and 10, correct? So you have to, again the same formula, 2 into number of hours in the range minus how many times you are getting 10 p.m. or 2 p.m. This only you have to subtract, and this will give you the final answer. Simple, understood the process? Whenever you see an angle like this, you need to think what is the exact o'clock time where I find this angle. Now you subtract the number of times you have those in the range and you will get the answer. This is the proper way of calculating it. I will also tell you the shortcut of the table that is given everywhere, but sometimes they ask you in a particular range also. Then this becomes important. I'll show you a question in 2024 that most students did incorrectly because they don't learn it in a proper way like this. So now that you understand all this, now we get to this. So basically, this is the table found everywhere, found in every book. Ultimately, angle repetition, 0 degree, how many times? So 12 hours, man, you will have it 11 times, correct? And in 24 hours, you have it 22 times. Why? Because we are subtracting what? Now, to you to know matter, correct? Let those people not know, but why? Because we have to subtract how many times we get 12. So in 12 hours, we get it only once. Here, we get 12 twice. So that's why we have subtracted 2 here and we have subtracted 1 here. Understood? Similarly for 180 degree, same reason. You have to subtract 6 here also and 6 here also. Here 6 will come twice, so I have subtracted 2. Then any other angle, 90, 30, 60, whatever angle, it does not matter. It will be exactly same. That is 2 you have to subtract here. You remember the theme, correct? So 2 you have to subtract within every hour. There is twice repetition, but you'll have to subtract 2 of them. That is for 3 and 9. Here of course you'll be subtracting 4, and that's why you got to 48 minus 4, and that is 44. So this is the final table. You can remember the table. It helps you solve faster, but understand the underlying concept also. Now, let's get to the questions. Question won't take much time. Yeah, let's see this. So it says, this is a question from CSAT 2022. Now, first, consider the following statements. So it says between 3:16 and 3:17 p.m. both hour hand and minute hand coincide. This we'll have to check. Between 3:16 and 3:17, do the hour hand and minute hand coincide? So how do you do this? Basically, ultimately, you are asked to find between 3 and 4, when do they coincide? Correct. Fairly easy to do. How you will do? Angle is equals to 0 degree, 60. H will be what? 3 hours have completed between 3 and 4 minus 11m by 2. 2 is gone. 2 into 0 is gone. So ultimately m came out to be 60 into 3 is 180 by 11. How many times this will go? One time. What remains? 7 remains. With the 70, it will go 6 times. What remains? What remains? 4 remains. So 16, 4 by 11. This is the time that you get. So ultimately the time is 3 hours 16 minutes and 4 by 11 minutes. So this is the time. Is this between 3:16 and 3:17? Very clearly. Correct. Very clearly. Just above 3:16. So answer, this is absolutely correct. Now this second statement was very tricky. It asked between 4:58 and 4:59. Now see, both minute hand and second hands coincide. What do you think? Minute hand and second hand, not minute hand and hour hand. What do you think? This is absolutely right. Because the second hand within 1 minute goes the entire 360 degree. So wherever the minute hand is, it will cross it. Correct? Can you feel it? So in 1 minute, the second hand goes the entire round. So wherever minute hand is located, it will go just above it. That is, it will coincide with it. This was minute hand and hour hand. This is minute hand and seconds hand. So of course they coincide in every minute. So this is correct. Both of these are actually correct. So answer becomes C, both 1 and 2. Then next, see the number of times in a day the hour hand and the minute hand of a clock are at right angles. Now you know the entire thing. So ultimately, if you remember it directly, then it is 44 in a day. It is asking. Otherwise, what you remember, 48 minus number of times there is 9 p.m. and 3 p.m., which is 2 and 2. So ultimately 48 minus 4, that is 44 is the answer. Then see this from CSAT 2024. Now because students just keep learning concepts, that's why they gave a question like this. Now it is fairly easy if you understand things. How many times do the hour hand and minute hand of a clock coincide between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m.? Why they have given this range only? Because it has 12 in between and people don't know about it. All they do is just multiplication, some random. So between 10 and 2. So between 10 to 2, what is the number of hours? Number of hours is 4. 4 is number of hours. Now you will have to subtract. The number of times, because this is coincidence. So you will have to subtract the number of times you have 12 in between or in the range. Do you have 12 in the range? Yes, you have it once. So you'll have to subtract 1. Answer becomes 3. So answer to this is 3. I have omitted the options. Okay. Now, so answer is 3. So this is it for coincidence or angles or fixed angles repetition in a clock. That's it. Thank you.